Hey everybody, it's week 2 of managerial accounting. We're about halfway through the week. We've been talking about job costing, process costing, and activity-based costing. Wanted to go over job costing a little bit more and what it entails. And it involves the accumulation of the costs of materials, labor, and overhead for any specific job. And this approach is an excellent tool for tracing specific costs of individual jobs and examining them to see if the costs can be reduced in later jobs. An alternative use is to see if any excess costs can be billed to the customer. So like I said, it tells you whether or not you're making money, and it tracks the expenses for a job and compares them to revenue. And it is perhaps the oldest, most basic, least glamorous, and yet most useful of management accounting techniques. I love that quote. Job costing is used to accumulate costs at a small unit level. For example, job costing is appropriate for deriving the cost of constructing a custom machine, designing a software program, constructing a building, or manufacturing a small batch of products. So when you are constructing a machine, designing a software program, constructing a building, or manufacturing a small batch of products, you would take into account every single piece of that job and put a cost to it. So job costing involves the following accounting activities. Materials. It accumulates the cost of the components and then assigns the costs to these products or project once the components are used. So not until they are used do you assign the cost to the product. Labor, the employees charge their time to the specific job. So any employees that are assigned to these jobs they charge their time to these jobs. And overhead, it accumulates overhead costs in cost pools, and then they're allocated to the costs to these jobs. Job costing results in discrete buckets of information about each job that the cost accountant, us, can review to see if it really should be assigned to that job. So we review to see if that cost should really be assigned to that particular job. And there is a chance that it shouldn't have been assigned to that job. So we have to review those to make sure that they should be assigned to that. And overhead is one of those gray areas that you really have to review, and that's an allocation that needs to be reviewed periodically. And if a job is expected to run for a longer period of time, then you have to really compare the costs. You have to compare them on a regular basis, because those costs can change regularly. So what are the advantages of job order costing? Advantages are they allow the managers to calculate a profit on the individual jobs, and it keeps track of performance. And it helps managers better ascertain whether the specific jobs are desirable to pursue in the future. So it helps us to ascertain whether or not we want to pursue those specific types of jobs in the future. And it's best for businesses that do highly custom work, such as construction contractors and consultants. So we get detailed information, and we absolutely know whether or not we would make a profit doing this type of job in the future. One of the disadvantages of job order costing is the record keeping. Record keeping of job order costing is that employees are required to track all materials and labor used during these jobs, and you have to keep track of every single piece of material that is used. For example, on a construction site, you have to keep track of all the wood, all the nails, all the screws, all the electrical fixtures, all the paint, and all the other materials used on that job, along with keeping track of the hours of every single employee that is on that particular job, and it can become a tedious process. So job order costing and record keeping, that is the big disadvantage to job order costing, and that is why a lot of people don't like cost accounting, because it is very tedious. But why is it important? It's very important because it maximizes the success of the business, especially manufacturing business, construction business, and it provides opportunities for growth. You often learn from your mistakes. A construction industry job costing systems, like I said, are essential for the company to maximize success. It produces accurate information, requires diligence in recording and coding time, materials. They often have subcontractors and other costs to the current jobs. And in the end, though, the effort will pay off. It also gives opportunities for growth. When you want to expand your business, you often have to go to a bank. Stakeholders often expect firms to have a job order costing system. Banks want to be able to track your profitability, so they often want to see a job order costing system. And they want to see your profitability by job. And because that means that you know how to handle your operations, and means you know how to accurately keep your information. So if you have all of that information in a good, solid order, it will assure that you have opportunities for growth. So that makes it important to have a job order costing system. But, and it gives you a living history, and it allows you to learn from your mistakes, so you would know not to go do that type of job again if you lost the shirt on your back. If you did that type of job before, you know not to do it again. But the job order costing system is also only as good as the information that you enter into the system. So you should often update your job costing system, and you should update it at least monthly for the costs, because there's often change orders. You could also have changes in estimates. You need to make sure you have a good estimating system. This comes along with the construction side of it. Construction jobs need to have a good estimating system. And like I said, if you don't update your systems for the cost of the products going in, it's only as good as the input the information that's going in. So job order costing is only as good as the information going in, so you got to make sure that's accurate as well. And these are some of the references that I used when putting together this information. I hope that you guys enjoyed this week's topics. If you have any questions, you can give me a call. You can email me, text me, whatever you need to do. If you have any questions, like I said, do not hesitate to communicate with me. That is the only way I can help. So I will be talking to you soon. Have a great rest of your week.